Okay, so for the Thursday night item, we're going to do the second part of the bootstrap. I don't have a separate video for this, so I'll cover it here. So in this second part, I have a different markdown file for you to check out. I have you start at, of course, where we left off, right? And then I also show you, because in this case he's going to copy and paste some content, so I show you again the Emmett way of doing things, which is awesome, right? And then make sure as you're coding along you pay attention, because there are certain places we're going to skip. Like in here where we end this one on table classes, we're going to skip to buttons, right? And then we're going to skip to cards. I didn't put the time on there, but you can see it here. Skip to collapse. Okay, so I'm actually skipping around a little bit on here, and just make sure you do get all those commits done correctly. Okay, but other than that, you have everything you need. Continue working in the same folder as we were in before for this one, and then submit your commit history. Okay, so for the next item, this is a new item I just have written for this semester. And by the way, this, I'll say that in the overview, but let's talk about the accessibility. So in this case, I found a really, what I thought was good video, and it was from Web Dev Simplified, who we're watching already, and I really enjoy his content. So in this case, we're going to test some accessibility. And I really enjoy this video. So the first thing you want to do is watch his video, because he's going to give you a series of tests and a series of resources to check out accessibility. Now in this case, he's talking about sites you will create, but we don't really have enough of a site yet. Although if you want to look at only the stuff something we've created that you felt could be tested, you're welcome to do that. But in general, I would say select the website you want to test their accessibility, and then do the test. Like I said, I want you to at least do 5 different ways of testing the site, because he gives you resources that you could look at. So you could look at some code, or he actually gives you ways in DevTools to actually test for things. So select, again, in here 5 different ways that you tested the site based on what you learned from the video, right? You can include, I'm not going to require it, but I think it'd be helpful to include print screens here. If you do include them, make sure you embed them, right? Or otherwise you're just going to have to, in your post, talk about the different ways you've tested. So that's what I will look for. This is a hands-on experience, so there's no required replies, but I think it'd be really good in this case to look at some of the ways, right? And each student does need to select a different site. You could kind of go back to what we did in week 1 with the HTTP exercise if you wanted to go back to there. Again, it's a first come, first serve idea, so make sure if you want a particular site, you reserve it and then come back around and complete the work later. Okay. That's for the hands-on. So for the last item is our beginning look at your project 0, which accounts for a pretty good size of your grade. Okay, I think it's 25%, 20 or 25. I'll get that right. So here's the requirements, and I actually modified them today. And I realized I didn't modify them completely, and I'll show you what I mean by that. I used to require students to build a site with 21 pages, but I'm kicking this down to 15 this semester. Now, the thing that often when I start talking about this, students go, oh my God, even at 15, you're going to think that's a lot. But the thing you're going to do, and we're going to do this next week, is you're going to find a Bootstrap template. So you don't have to write all the Bootstrap. You just modify content already created with a template. And then, now where you get the content is really up to you. Here's some ideas: a project portfolio, a vanity site, favorite person or team, business idea, right? Or someone you know that needs a site. This has happened several times in this class. So these are only suggestions. If you have something else, do a shout out, ask me about it. I'd be totally willing to reply here as to if that would be cool. All right, now organize the page into 3 or 4 items on a menu. I'll show you what I mean by that. But no single page sites. Okay. Now I'll show you and we actually end up talking about this as we move through the course, but I will show you one I've done before. So here's a site I did as an example. Right, for me. Now I do have some content down in here, but it's not a single page site. Now how do I know this? Well, when I click on one of the menus, you can see that it takes me to a new page. Okay, so that's how you know it's not a single page site. Now, when we get to looking at templates, which we will do next week, you can start with a single page template site and then, make it multi-page. So don't worry if you don't know these, we'll get to there soon, right? So when I say 3 to 5 menu items, this is what I mean. So what you do is you come up with a way to organize the content you're going to use, and then these are your menu items that then will have most likely subpages inside it. Well, will have subpages inside of them, right? Is it here? I had one, yeah, running goals. Here was my running goals. So you can see how when I went to passions and then within passions, lifelong learner, right? So I have content that is then linked. And one thing I am going to add this year, I'm so glad I just thought about it, is a sitemap. Now, let me pause and do that real quick. Okay, so I did add this. So create an HTML. This will not be part of the 15, so in a sense it's 16, right? Create using the template design and list all the pages on your site. Now I'll talk more about this as we move forward, but this would be organized so that it'd be an outline, like you could use LIs, ULs, and then show an outline. So like where I was showing you, here's right, this page on passions, right? This would be the page, but when I hit running goals, that's a page that's underneath, or in this case, it's a sibling of, so I'd want to have that organization. I'm not sure why my voice goes up when I talk about that, but anyway, that's a total of, and again, here's 15, and I would say 16 counting this one, so I'd put total of 16 pages. Okay. So it's 15 pages of content. That includes the index file. Now, the purpose of this item is not for you to do it yet, because the other thing I will tell you moving forward about this is that we start working on this, and every week from here to the end, right, we're on week 5. So in week 6, 7, 8, and 9, you will have at least one, and sometimes 2 of your items that will be related to working on the project. That's why I tell you, don't freak out. Okay. Now we'll end up publishing these, and I'll give you the full URL later. I'm just telling you here because in the past, and this is kind of what you saw here, because you can create your own GitHub IO on your own GitHub space itself, but I've stopped doing that as far as making students use that, because they might want to use that for something else. So I know that's why we use them within the organization. Again, don't worry too much about that. So here are the requirements, right? Each page needs 75 words, an associated image, a unique title. Must be updated, right? So you must update wherever you got the template. They'll have some sample content. You'll delete that where it doesn't make sense, or you'll update it where it does. So the purpose of this item is just for you to review this and ask questions. Okay, 2 substantive reviews. This is your project 0 overview. Again, we work on it all the rest of the, now not the only thing we work on other things, but hopefully this gives you enough of an overview for you to ask some questions, so you clarify, so you can hopefully ease your stress about this. All right, talk to you later.